What's up, y'all? It's your girl Amanda, and we are back with another episode of Thompson and Stuff. So, I want to get this out the way because y'all know my rule. I don't wish nobody a Happy New Year after MLK weekend, which is, I think, next week. So, Happy New Year, everybody. This is the first episode of the new year. We're on season 7. Now, how did we get to season 7? And I've only been doing this for like 5 years. Somewhere I probably miscounted. I miscounted somewhere, but it's just now season 7, whatever. 7 seasons. Just thank y'all so much for all the support and stuff. Um, why did I wait till like the second week of January to do a new episode? I've been sick, y'all. I got sick. And it started last week. So I had mucus in my chest. And I was walking around and I could feel it. It was like my chest was so heavy. But me, like I sound like y'all can kind of hear it in my throat and stuff. I'm getting a lot better. I'm a lot better than I am than last week. But yeah, I was sick and I didn't have a fever and I wasn't like, miserable sick. Like I could still like get up and do what I need to do, but it was just like annoying. Like I hate having the sniffles. I hate, having stuff in my throat. I just don't like sickness. I just don't like sickness. But yeah, I was sick and so I didn't want to be like on here sounding like all raspy and stuff to y'all. And then also I wanted to be like all the other content creators and they work like a non-traditional 9 to 5 so they could do whatever they want. And some of my favorite content creators, they waited till like the second week of January. Like, normal people go back to work like the first week of January, like January 5th. But yeah, so I wanted to do that too. But yeah, I miss y'all. I hope y'all had a great Christmas. Um what did I do for Christmas? So I actually ended up going to my grandmother's house. And you know what's great? So what we ate for Christmas, because Thanksgiving and stuff, we had like turkey and all that stuff, right? So my family and I, we decided not to do like the traditional like turkey and stuff. So we ended up frying fish. Let's normalize, and I always say this, let's normalize frying fish and frying chicken and not having to cook a whole turkey that nobody will really eat. Fried fish is so good. It's so good. It's so good. So let's start normalizing that because I'm tired of seeing turkey. And I know in the back of my mind when I see y'all cook turkey, I know like y'all ain't gonna really eat that. Y'all gonna let that whole turkey just sit in the fridge. But yeah, we fried some fish. It was so good. I could go for some right now, but that was like almost a month ago. It was so good. So that was Christmas. New Year's, I did the traditional with me and my boo. We did like a New Year's getaway. We brought the New Year in together because I always believe like, Thanksgiving and Christmas, that's for when we spend time with our families, but we always do our own thing on New Year's because New Year's is a couple's thing. Like you get to kiss at midnight. And what I did was I got 2 kisses because I brought in a kiss for the East Coast, which is before us, and then I brought in a kiss for Chicago, which where I live now. And that's why probably I'm sick now because here in Chicago we've been having such up and down weather. Like a couple of days ago it was like 50 something degrees and I'm outside with like this little skimpy Columbia thermal jacket and then 2 days later I'm wearing like a thick coat and yeah. Yeah, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, we brought in New Year's together. Um, so we're here in 2026. It's here. It's been about 13 days, 12, 13 days. I think everything is going well. I am working on a lot of stuff this year. I have some new goals. I'm not really a big goal setter, but I have a goal. One of them I'll actually share with you. So I'm actually trying to change my diet. And what I mean by that is I want to Hold on. Sorry. So I'm actually recording on my phone. My computers are dead, so I'm recording on my phone through the Riverside app. So, I'm changing my diet. And what I mean by that is I'm trying not to go through the drive-throughs as much. I'm trying to avoid McDonald's, White Castle. I don't really eat Burger King. I seldomly eat Wendy's. So primarily McDonald's and White Castle, right? I think I got my last quarter pounder before Christmas. I said, okay, I won't. So my new diet goal is if I want to eat out, if I don't want to eat home cooked food, right? And I have the money for it, I'm going to go to the grocery store. Okay. I'm going to go to the grocery store and I'm going to probably get food from like the delicatessen area. Um, so for example, here in Chicago, we have a grocery store called Pete's, right? Pete's has such good food. They have hot food, they have hot plates Mexican food, sushi, Chinese food, sandwiches, the best desserts ever, all that stuff. So if I want to eat out and I don't want to go to a drive-through, right? I'm going to go to Pete's or any other grocery store because there's more than one brand of grocery stores here in Chicago. I'm going to eat from there. I'm going to probably get like a salad or a sandwich, some soup, something because it's likely homemade. So I'm trying to do that more. Um, to do that and to lower my A1C and all that stuff. And speaking of A1C, I want to share the good news with you guys. So I recently went to the doctor. Now, y'all might think, oh, this is not news, but whatever. It's news it's good news to me, but you could cheer me on, whatever. So I went to the doctor. I had some blood work done, and I know I am doing good with the working out consistency and stuff because when I was a lot heavier, I would go get blood work done, and it would take like literally 30 minutes for me to get the blood out of my veins because the phlebotomist or the blood taker, I guess it's called the phlebotomist, she would have a hard time finding my vein. Oh, where's the, okay, make a fist, she'll slap my arm, where's your vein, blah, 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 for a long time. Now, y'all got to keep in mind, I lost about maybe 20 to 30 pounds. I don't know the exact number. So I go, and this is a home doctor's office, right? So I go in there and I say, hey, I'm here for blood work. I had a pit stomach feeling that I would be here for a long time. I'm going to probably be here for an hour. Luckily, I said, the plan is after lunch, I'm going to try my new goal. Pete's, the grocery store I was telling you guys about, was right next door. I was going to go grab a sandwich and it's like some sugar-free juice or something. I go in there, they set everything up for me. They say, okay, Miss Thompson, can you please take your jacket off so we can get the vein, blah, blah, blah. The lady felt up for my vein. She said, okay, there it is. Well, she didn't say it out loud, but she found it. She gets the needle. She puts the needle in. Now, I know what y'all wondering. Are you scared of needles? No, I'm not because I've been drawing blood since I was 19. Because when I was 19, I was very sick and I always had to go to the doctor a lot. So they kept pricking me with needles. And 19, I'll be 31 next month. 12 years of pricking needles. No, I'm not scared of needles. So she put the needle in and the blood just spurted right out into the little tube. No problem. I'm like, oh, okay. That's a good sign, right? So it spurted right out. She did like two tests of stuff, and then she said, okay, you have a great day, Miss Thompson. So I leave the doctor's office, I go to the store, I get my little sandwich, and I head home. I was gone all but nothing but like probably 45 minutes altogether. So I get my results. Triglycerols is high. I mean, I know that. My A1C is high, but I went to another clinic before I went to this clinic. And the lady, not the lady, I shouldn't call her a lady, the nurse practitioner said, your A1C is at a 10. I'm a diabetic. I'm very aware of that because most of it stems from my anxiety and my stress and all that stuff. Please take that into consideration. Don't look at me like, girl, what you be doing? Sitting down eating sheet cake all day? No. I am very stressed out. I have anxiety. I got a lot going on in life there. So I go to this new clinic. I get a new nurse practitioner. I like this guy. He's pretty cool. Very patient. Heard me out because I've been going to doctors for a long time. And this is why sometimes I have a tiff with the American healthcare system. Like I said before, I have a lot of stress. I'm an anxious person. I have anxiety. And when I go to the doctor, they put the thing around my arm and they take my blood pressure gets really high, like 100 something over 100 something because of my anxiety, right? But in the past, I've had doctors look at me like, oh, um, your blood pressure is high. Stop eating this, stop eating that. And it's like 90% is food I don't even eat anyway. Oh, stop eating fried foods. I don't really eat fried foods. It tears my stomach up. I mean, I still eat it, but then I have a consequence to pay after. And y'all know what I mean by a consequence after. So, oh, stop eating salt. Well, in my household, we don't eat like Morton's salt. We eat Himalayan pink or sea salt. We don't eat regular salt. Again, it's my anxiety. So, I got the right meds. Finally, I got the right meds that I needed to go. So I think my blood pressure has gone down a lot. Because the last clinic I went to, the nurse practitioner basically accused me of like eating junk food all day and not being healthy and all that stuff. But um, yeah, that's what I really hate about the healthcare system. Like you say, oh, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. You don't know what that person be doing. Like me, oh, you don't exercise and diet. I'm in the gym 2 to 3 times a week, so I do pretty much exercise. I used to be well over 200 pounds, so. But yeah, my new nurse practitioner, he's a cool guy. He heard me out. He listened to me. He got me started. And I do feel a lot better. I think my blood pressure is not as high as it was before. So, shout out to Aunt Martha's. I think it's only like a South Chicago, South Side, Southland thing. I don't think they have them in like the north suburbs and stuff where I'm trying to move to in the future, but yeah, so that I think that choice of food switch, if you will. But I still eat like my like Chick-fil-A because that Chick-fil-A they have like healthy options. You could get a grilled chicken sandwich, you can get fruit, you can get salad, you can get like diet lemonade, which is way less calories than the like regular lemonade. It doesn't taste as good, but it's way less calories. So I'm planning on doing that. I am planning on getting more like content for the Mandy's Entertainment reviews. Those are coming back very, very soon. I'm trying to get the last episode of Power. So I'm gonna do an episode for Power, the predictions and conclusions. I also am gonna do the Being Eddie documentary and the Magic City documentary, which I did watch like way back in the fall, but I just didn't record episode. But so those are my plans. That was my holiday. I hope you guys had a great holiday. I hope you enjoyed your family, and I hope y'all are working on what y'all working on for 2026. So enough of the life updates. So let's get into these stories. So I don't have a lot of stories. I had a longer list, but I just decided not to. I dumbed it down, so I just started like taking off stuff that I don't want to talk about or people have already talked about. So the first story I want to get into is the missing CPS teacher. So there is a CPS teacher. She was reported missing last week or so. And when the report first came out, her husband was on TV, pleading for her to come back. And then automatically the internet lit up. And what happened was people were saying, the husband has something to do with it. The husband has something to do with it. The husband don't look like he's remorseful. He has something to do with this. The husband did it. Now, I understand why people said that, because now I didn't think the husband did it, in my defense, but I understand why people were saying it, because we've seen stories like that 1,000 times. We've seen Scott Peterson with Lacey Peterson. Scott Peterson went on TV, said, I don't know where Lacey is. I hope we find her. And then he goes and he joins the search party for his wife, knowing he did what he did in the back of his mind. Then we had Drew Peterson, the officer from Bolingbrook, Illinois. And, he was a suspect in the disappearance of his second wife. And then, oh, my third wife, Stacy, is missing, and blah, blah, blah. So we've seen this happen before. So then a couple days ago, or not a couple days ago, a couple days later, it was revealed that there was footage of her parking her car and disappearing. So now everybody has kind of calmed down on it. Oh, we owe the husband an apology, blah, 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 blah. All right, well, maybe he didn't do it, blah, blah, blah. So as of tonight, today is Monday, it just came out that they found her body in Chicago. So she is deceased. So rest in peace to her. So sad. They did say that she had some her name. I don't want to call her she. I want to call her by her name. Let's see. Her name was Linda Brown. So Miss Brown, yeah, she was found deceased today. It was just reported that they found her body in the water. I want to say Lake Michigan. So yeah, they found her, and they said she has some like mental issues, so she, you know, probably, I don't want to say, but you guys get the picture. So I do want to say rest in peace to her, and I hope that her husband, Mr. Brown, gets the comfort around the comfort he so very much needs, comfort and love and condolences and things like that. So I do want to say rest in peace to her. And I hated starting with that like sad story, but rest in peace to Mrs. Brown. Because it was such a big story in Chicago, and people were just like saying, oh, the husband has something to do with it. But now we know the husband has nothing to do with it. So we're gonna move on to the NFL. So, yes, I am very aware that the Steelers are put out of the playoffs. At least we went to the playoffs. At least we did a a game. I didn't watch the game. Shout out to I watch them because I don't have all the football channels. It's this channel on YouTube, and they do like a live stream commentary. It's not the actual game, it's commentary of the Steelers games that I can't catch. He actually did the game when they went to Ireland, and it's right in front of me. Shout out to, who are you? What's your name? I don't know your name, but Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. So that's who they would do like a play by play, you know, touchdown, all that stuff. So shout out to them. 6-30. So Steelers are out of the playoffs. It is what it is. At least we went to the playoffs. Mike Tomlin is a great coach. He is a wonderful coach. I hope they don't do nothing with him. I hope they lock him in for like another 30 years or so. But Steelers had a great season. What was it, like 10, 13, and 7 or something? I don't know. But they had a great season in my opinion. They had some like headache ass games though. The one game, I think right before Christmas, and then the past game they had last week. Oh my God, with the Ravens, that stinking kick, crazy. That was crazy. What's his name? Loop? Luke from the Baltimore Ravens. Let me tell y'all something. Now, the NFL is entertainment, right? It's entertainment. These football players are here to entertain you. So why in the heck are these people, these fans, these overly fanatics, they in Luke's whatever his name is comments on Instagram. Now this guy is a regular schmegular guy outside of football. He has a fiance. I don't know if he has kids. But he's a regular guy. Don't y'all be going in that man's comments on social media threatening him and saying, oh, I hope your girl leave, blah, blah. It ain't that deep. Now, yes, I'm happy that the Steelers won. I'm happy that the football didn't go in the goal. It went to the right. Whatever. I'm happy that happened. But I'm not going to go threaten the man. That's not nice. It ain't that deep, y'all. It is not that deep. Wish him well, or maybe say, hey, that kick you did sucked, and you keep it pushing. Keep it pushing. Y'all don't be on there threatening that man and saying, oh, I hope your girl leave you and all blah, blah, blah. Just say the kick sucked and keep it pushing. That was some bullying them people did. And if you listen and you did that to that man, you a bully. You are a bully. Because that was not right. I mean, granted, it saved the Steelers for us to get in the playoffs, which is great. But you didn't have to go and wish bad on the man. That's terrible. That's external unsportsmanlike conduct, if that makes sense. That wasn't nice. That was not nice. I didn't like that one bit. Now, yeah, I hope Mike Tomlin and them, they keep their jobs. Aaron Rodgers, thank you for all you've done this season. But I think it's time for you to hang it up. I'm glad you came to the Steelers. We were happy to have you, but it's time to hang it up. You got to take it out the book of Tom Brady. You see what Tom doing? Tom going to make money, narrating football. So, you could go do that too, because you old. But thank you for all that you contributed this season. We were happy to have you, pay you some money, and I'll go and get. Now, congratulations to the Chicago Bears. Now, they are going to be in the playoffs. I think their game is Sunday, I want to say. They had a game yesterday, so I think their game is Sunday. The city is going to go up. I'm from Chicago. I just know the city is going to go up. I mean, if I'm invited to the celebrations, that's perfectly fine, but I know the city's going to go up, and I wish them well. Not a Bears fan, but I wish them well. And, a lot of, I think if the Bears go very far, I think that will bring great revenue to the city too. Probably we'll see like numbers when Jordan was playing back in the 90s, but for the Bears, it's very possible. It's very possible. But speaking of, hope you don't get fired. Well, I don't hope, because unfortunately, 6 coaches. 6 coaches have lost their jobs. So let's start. Number 1, the Raiders. Pete Carroll. I heard, was like 80 years old. And the Raiders suck. So there's that. You let somebody young do it. Whatever happened, because I don't keep up with the Las Vegas Raiders. What happened to Antonio Pierce? Antonio Gates? Antonio. I don't know his last name. I kind of forgot, but he's from California. I call him a pork the core. Whatever happened to him? Why did he stop coaching? Or why wasn't he replaced? I think he should do that job, fill in, and he needs to work with a young crowd, let him work with them. But Pete Carroll is old, and the Las Vegas Raiders just suck. Then the Cleveland Browns coach, gone, lost his job. What a shame. And it was Shador's first season. That's gotta be kind of traumatizing, that, you're drafted to this new team in Cleveland, you move to this new city, You have a bad season and your coach gets fired. Ouch. Ouch. Then the Falcons coach got fired. And you know what's messed up? I saw a video on Facebook, right? I saw a video on Facebook. The coach was like shaking hands and giving hugs to people in the organization. And then like an hour or so later, he got fired. Dang. Like that sucks. That's really gotta suck. But then I'm tired of watching the Falcons fans on the internet crying and boo-hooing and standing in front of Mercedes-Benz Stadium waving their fists like, why? I'm tired of seeing that. Then the next day, the Cardinals coach gets fired. I don't check for the Cardinals. I think this was a move to put them in a better position. Whatever. Then the Ravens. Now this shocked me. The Ravens head coach gets fired. I think, in my opinion, the Steelers and Ravens game, I think that was kind of like the final straw for the coach, in my opinion. And then the Dolphins head coach got fired too. And most of these teams are teams that, honestly, when it comes to playoff time, nobody really checks for. Nobody really checks for. So I guess, they're going to do some organization shakeups, probably going to hire some coaches, probably going to, do some trades on the off season. And yeah, they're probably going to make some moves to make them look better for the 2026-2027 season, as they should, because these teams like the Dolphins, I have not heard the Dolphins be in the playoffs in years, like seriously. So that's just my opinion. Go Steelers. Our season's over. I'm gonna wear my jersey tomorrow. I have an Antonio Brown jersey. I know, even though Antonio Brown is crazy as all hell, but his jersey, I found it at a thrift site. So yeah, crazy ass Antonio. Moving on from that, let's see. Will Smith is sued for sexual assault, and we don't know these celebrities, but in my opinion, I feel like Will Smith is innocent. One, it's because it's a violinist that is suing him. And my question is, what business does Will Smith have with a violinist? Um, Will Smith has not had a concert since 2024, 2025. It doesn't make sense. So why is he getting sued for a violinist? It could be a money grab. Something could have happened, but it was just a weird story for me, and that's what I think is it's probably a money grab because it don't make no sense. And I never heard Will Smith. Will Smith's been in the industry for what, almost 40 years. I've never heard of him like doing anything like this or being sued for sexual harassment, because we all know he's married, or he has a untraditional marriage, if you will, to Jada Pinkett. So I thought that was, weird. Weird, very weird. Tesla is dethroned as the top selling EV cars. And a story like this, it makes me stop and say, gee, I wonder why. I still see Teslas and stuff be like driven in the street and stuff, but you know what's messed up? I've driven past a lot of Tesla dealerships, and some of them Tesla dealerships look very bare, or nobody's in there, or there's a lot of inventory and nobody's buying them. And it makes me want to stop and think, gee, I wonder why. Because Elon is out here working for Trump and nobody likes Trump. Hell, Trump's people who he put in power in the office and stuff, they're starting to turn against him. It's messed up out here. It's the politics. It's the politics of it. And politics in the White House is the reason why nobody really wants to buy Tesla anymore. And also how they work. And my question is, so a Tesla battery, I hear it costs $28,000. So, if regular Reggie buys a Tesla, right? And regular Reggie's Tesla battery goes out, and the battery is thousands of dollars. So what do regular Reggie do? Does he like get a warranty to cover it, or does he pay out of pocket? Like, it does not make sense. And I think Tesla parts are kind of expensive. So for example, I drive an 11-year-old car. I've had my battery replaced a couple years ago. It cost me none but like $500 to $600, whatever. But if you have a Tesla, it'll cost you like thousands of dollars. Like, it's expensive. And then politics and Elon Musk being affiliated with somebody like Donald Trump, who, is making all these laws and stuff, bringing these people in. And, people are right when they say this is all Donald Trump's fault. And that's what the Trump supporters voted for, because before Donald Trump, we ain't had these ICE agents acting up and overstepping their boundaries. God bless that lady who was killed by an ICE agent. Like, that should not have happened. And ICE, shame on them. You know what I mean? Like, shame on everything. This is nothing but a big, this is not a political podcast at all. I try not to talk about politics, but sometimes you just gotta wake up and watch. I watch very little news because I try not to cloud my mind with that stuff, but you just sometimes can't help it because it's on social media every day. It's on, like, it crosses over to the things you watch. Like, hell, Joe Budden podcast. I'm a big Joe Budden podcast fan. I've been listening to Joe Budden since I was in college, since I was 20. I'll be 31 next month. Like, he has covered politics because obviously he sees this stuff in his algorithm. So yeah, it's just weirdness. Now, if this is my opinion, if Elon Musk didn't get affiliated with Donald Trump, like, he probably wouldn't be hit with like being dethroned as the top selling EV car. If Elon Musk minded his own business and stayed out the White House, he would probably not be in this position. He would not be in this position, but he just wanted to be in there with the mix, and yeah, it cost him. Cost him. They said that this other car, it's not even in America yet. I saw this on TikTok. It's a cute little old car. It's not in America. That's what takes as number one over Tesla. So yeah. Um, Shame on it all. Like, shame on it all. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 5 years Tesla like files for bankruptcy or shuts its doors. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. So I'm gonna move on from that. I don't want to get into the politics, and I like, why aren't you talking about the lady that was killed by the? It is very sad. That's what I will say about it. It is sad, and I just hate that these ICE agents are just overstepping their boundaries. I also heard that there's ICE agents going door to door, knocking on doors to see if people are legal, which makes absolutely no freaking sense. First of all, they're allowing to be trespassed on people's property. Like, that is so dumb. Leave people alone. Like, nobody's done anything to you. Like, leave them alone. Let's see. I'm gonna move on from that. It's sad. It's just all so sad. Shout out to Mero from formerly of Desus and Mero. He is actually the new host of the morning show on Hot 97. So I don't know if I said it on the last podcast, but Ebro in the morning on Hot 97 in New York is canceled. It was abruptly canceled. And if y'all ask me, I didn't really care for Hot 97 or Ebro in the morning. Um, I liked The Breakfast Club, and they're in New York on 105.1. I think I don't know their call letters, but it's 105.1, and they always had like more interesting interviews. Charlamagne the God, I'm a fan of, but not like a heavy fan. I just appreciate what he does for the community. for mental health, and he's an author like I am and all that stuff. I don't support everything Charlemagne does. Let me just say that. But I do appreciate him, and the model he has, his own podcasting network, author, all that stuff. So I am a fan of that. But I always watch The Breakfast Club more because they had like better guests, in my opinion, and better like conversation on things. And Hot 97, it was just always so boring. Ebro was kind of boring. Peter Rosenberg, he wasn't very boring to me because he always did other projects like on ESPN, and then his podcast wound up with uh what's that DJ's name? That DJ. I forgot his name, but he's also a comedian. I can't think of his name right now. But he also did that. And then he also helped Joe Budden start his podcast and all that stuff. So I was always cool with Peter. And Laura, she was kind of boring. And they did say, like, they mentioned, like, how they would go and record or, be on air, and the new spot wasn't good. It had roaches and rats and stuff. And I'm like, it's New York City. They always have roaches and rats. But they also mentioned, like, oh, um, homeless people would be hanging out in the hallways. And that I do understand. Like, sometimes you want to, look out for your safety when you go to work, obviously. But yeah, they did cancel Ebro in the morning. I kind of won't miss it. I wasn't subscribed to it on YouTube, so whatever. But they replaced them with Mero. Now, I like Mero. I love Jesus and Mero when it was on TV. I didn't watch it on TV. I watched them on YouTube, but there's clips and stuff on YouTube of them in action. Hilarious. Mero, he hosts a podcast with Carmelo Anthony. I think it's 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. That's a great podcast too. So I'm very glad that Mero is actually coming up after the show he had with Desus. So I think the morning show is probably going to be more funnier, but with a filter, because obviously when you go on radio, you can't say certain things, right? So, but I can't wait to see that. I heard somewhere they were trying to get like Atlanta hosts or something, and I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense because Hot 97 is in New York. Like, what are you gonna move these people to New York from Atlanta? Are they gonna like be on air in Atlanta but in New York? Like, it didn't make sense to me. I've only heard like a snippet about it, and then they just like kind of stopped talking about it. But if you guys know something about it, can you like clarify it for me? Because I haven't heard anything about it. Um, Rest in peace, along with Linda Brown. Rest in peace to Rob Reiner. If you don't know who that is by now, that's Meathead from All in the Family. Also the guy from The Wolf of Wall Street. I never saw that movie, but I only know that part where he said, "Who the fuck have the balls to call?" That part. I always laugh every time I hear that sound on like TikTok or something. But rest in peace to him and his wife. Um, when I first heard the story, TMZ said two people are found dead in Rob Reiner's home. So we heard stories of people being at a celebrity home or being outside a celebrity home and they die. We don't know how they died, they just die. So that's what I thought. Oh, somebody was probably staying in their house and they died. What a shame. So then, like an hour later, it came out that, oh, Rob Reiner and his wife are found dead in their home. So I thought, okay, they probably died of carbon monoxide poisoning or something. But then it came out that, oh my God, he was found murdered, him and his wife. And they say that the son, Nick, did it, allegedly. And Nick hired this lawyer, and the lawyer said that he was innocent. But then very recently, Nick's lawyer withdrew to be his lawyer, and he said he's still innocent. But I know, like, he could say he's still innocent, but he probably knows that Nick is guilty, and he allegedly did this stuff. So, but it's a sad story all around. Very sad. They were in their 70s. I think no, the mother was in her 60s, and Rob was like 78, and I think Rob was like working on projects and stuff. And they said like I never knew anything about Rob Reiner outside of All in the Family, but people always said he was the nicest guy ever. I've seen videos of him interacting with TMZ, and that showed me that he was a nice guy. And may he rest in peace. So sorry to hear that. And it was before Christmas when it happened. So rest in peace. Next, rest in peace to Tatiana Schlossberg. So she is actually a Kennedy. Her mom is Caroline Kennedy, who is the daughter of JFK, and Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. It was announced that she had terminal cancer. She was 35, and she is the sister of um, Jack Schlossberg, who is running for Congress. So I do see him a lot on social media. He's trying to do better for the community, and I know like he's dealing with running for Congress and also dealing with the loss of his sister. Also another loss in the Kennedy family. And also Caroline Kennedy basically lost her whole family, lost her mom, lost her dad, lost her brother, lost her daughter, lost her uncle, lost cousins, lost aunties. Ethel Kennedy was her auntie. So my prayers go out to the Kennedy family. And rest in peace, Isaiah Whitlock Jr. Now, if y'all don't know who that is, if y'all see the memes of The Wire and the guy says, like that guy, I I always liked his character. The Wire episodes I watched, I've seen his episode. Every time he said it, I laughed so hard. And I hope Isaiah knows in heaven that, his legendary line is a meme. Funny story. My car told me shit the other, like 2 weeks ago. Now we just had before New Year's two-degree weather, right? And I had to go somewhere at 4 o'clock in the morning, 2 degrees outside. My car hit me with the shit. Now, obviously, the car does not straight up say shit because the car don't speak English. But I get in my car, I turn the car on. I always let the needle drop. They always say, let the needle drop under one, but the needle dropped at one and my car just started shaking and the StabiliTrak light came on, check engine light came on. Yeah, Miss Glide told me she ain't going nowhere. So next day, everything was fine and normal. And it was New Year's Eve too, the morning of New Year's Eve that it happened. So she will forever live on in cars and people and people's thoughts. So thank you, Isaiah Whitlock Jr., for the legendary line. And lastly, rest in peace to TK Carter. TK actually passed away yesterday, I want to say. TK is a legendary actor as well. I know him as the guy from The Corner, which was like some 4 episode, like kind of like The Wire, but it was on BT. It was like about drugs in Baltimore. Like I think it was a drug addicted family and the son was selling drugs. So he was in that. Also, he was T-Bone in the Steve Harvey show when he was in Steve Hightower and the High Top. So I know him from that as well. So rest in peace to him as well. And moving on from that, Mariah the Scientist and Young Thug. Well, I don't call him Young Thug anymore. Jeff and Mariah. They're having a wedding. Now, this can go 2 ways because you got to remember, Jeff and Mariah broke up. No, Jeff and Mariah, right? Jeff goes to jail. All right. Mariah, she's in the visiting room. Boopy, do you love me? Boopy, I miss you. Blah blah blah. Daddy, I miss you. All right. So she doing all that in the Fulton County jail. Jeff gets out of jail. I think he was out on probation or something. All right, we see Mariah. She's running out of her work obligation because Jeff is getting out of jail. I gotta go see my man, right? Then those tapes and stuff of Jeff kikiing and whatnot on the phone with some other lady that ate Mariah, right? Mariah is like, I'm not dealing with this. Goodbye, Jeff. Huh. Mariah's out. She's doing her thing. Whatever. She's being Mariah the scientist. You know. Jeff comes out during a Mariah the Scientist concert, gives her flowers, interrupts her, let her know how much he loves her. Then a week later, Jeff and Mariah are out and about being cute or whatever. Now, I think it was during a concert that Jeff got on one knee. It was Mariah's concert. And Jeff proposed to Mariah. And Mariah, when you get engaged, right? The man or person who is doing the proposal says, will you marry me? And the person being proposed to says, yes, no, I don't know, let's think about this, blah, 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 blah. But generally, it's a yes or no answer, right? All right, cool. So Jeff is on his knee proposing to Mariah. Now, Mariah does not say yes or no. Mariah says, I was getting married. Okay, cute answer. All right, fine. All right, okay. Well, she's getting married. Yay, congratulations, Mariah. Put the ring on, whatever. Now, I haven't heard anything about Jeff and Mariah since then. I hope to keep it that way and they can go get married and live their merry Atlanta lives. All right, fine. But knowing the up and down of these people, why do I have a pit feeling that they're gonna break up and get back together and break up and get back together? And you know what? I hope it stays that way, because if they get married and they decide to break up, divorce is very expensive. Okay? Divorce is very expensive. And also, let's keep in mind that Young Thug's lawyer is Drew. I think his last name is Schindling. Schindling? I don't know his last name, but he's very expensive. All the Atlanta rappers have him as an attorney. He's got to pay his attorney fees, right? So I just hope, if y'all decide to split, do it before you get married. But if you get married, have a solid marriage. That's all I got to say, because yeah, it ain't cheap to divorce. Now, I've never been married officially. I've had the quote unquote ring on the finger, and guess what? A pre-marriage breakup is absolutely free. Trust me. You just pay for it with your mental health. But I wish them well. I all I can do is just wish them well and see how this will go about. Okay? Okay. Let's see. King Combs and Justin Combs Zeus stock. Like I said before in the podcast, y'all, I always thought that with Diddy in jail, the Diddy circus will calm down. Nope. And King Combs and Justin Combs, Tweedledee and Tweedledum Jr. had just added to the fire. So, King Combs and Justin Combs having a Zeus stock. It's a lot wrong with this picture. Number one, Zeus. So you mean to tell me that these two people who had access to the best education in America because their father is rich, they went to Lemuel Plummer and said, we need to do a doc to put our father in a better light. You went to Zeus Network, where Natalie Nunn and Tommy Lee and Jocelyn Hernandez are on there fighting and putting people down to make your father look good in a different light. 2, did we not learn anything from the Reawakening documentary on Netflix? The one 50 Cent did. Did you not see how bad your father looked on that documentary? So you and your brother decide to go to Lemuel Plummer, and say, yeah, I need to do a doc to make my dad look good. Oh, no, that's not a good thing. I just have a feeling that this documentary, it's gonna, it's not gonna be as big as the one in on Netflix, but it's gonna be big and it's gonna do some damage. Now I understand, oh, this is their sons, like we don't know what they were going through when he was, and guess what? They daddy in jail. I don't care, but you know, if somebody bootleg it and put it on YouTube or something, I'm gonna take a look and see what it's about to see if it's damaging or if it helps. Now I have a feeling it's gonna be more damaging than helping, in my opinion. But I don't think they should have not have done that. Even if they just in their spirit felt like they really, 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 really had to, they should not have went to Lemmy. They should not have done that. It's just gonna make everything worse for the Combs family. Let's see what else. Did anybody see the new Dave Chappelle stand up? I enjoyed it. Um, to me, I think Dave Chappelle has this different type of comedy. Like the first time you're not gonna get it, but the second time you are going to get it, and it's a lot more thinking. But shout out to Dave Chappelle for helping me discover my new favorite Stevie Wonder song is called Joy of My Tears. You are the joy of my tears. So I think it's on like the Key of Life album, I think. The Orange album. I don't know album titles that well, but it helped me discover one of my new favorite Stevie Wonder songs. I loved the ending. I've never watched the ending credits on a comedy special and it made me cry. It was basically pictures of Dave and his friends and family and stuff. He dedicated it to D'Angelo, who, you know, as we know, passed away in October. They were friends. I think I saw D'Angelo perform. I think that was D'Angelo performing in like a Dave Chappelle backyard. I don't remember. I don't think that was Dave. But they were friends. I knew that for a fact. They were friends. And he had a picture of Dave and Diddy shaking hands and next to him was Marlon because, you know, Marlon kind of in a way defended Diddy in interviews after he went to jail and, you know, he was it was just a mess. But I really, really liked that part of the Dave Chappelle stand up. I always liked Dave Chappelle. I'm a fan of Dave Chappelle. The Dave Chappelle show. I grew up watching the Chappelle show at an age I was not supposed to be watching the Chappelle show. So I don't want to spoil it for you guys. So it's on Netflix. It was a surprise. Like we didn't know we were gonna get a new Dave Chappelle special. So it was a surprise. He dropped it around Christmas, not on the day of Christmas, probably like right before Christmas, but it's a great, great, great stand up, and I suggest y'all, you know, check it out. Speaking of sports, I should have mentioned this before I talked about the teams cutting their coaches and stuff. The Chicago Bears, I heard a rumor. I hope that was just a rumor, and I'm claiming it as a rumor. The Chicago Bears was looking at Northwest Indiana as a spot for their new stadium. Now, we know for a fact that, you know, the new stadium is going to be in Arlington Heights. Now, I'm still, because I spend a lot of time in Arlington Heights, I'm still trying to figure out because Arlington Heights is a very tight city. And what I mean by that is when I go to Arlington Heights, I don't really see a lot of open field, but I don't go to all parts of Arlington Heights. I mainly go by like Rand Road where all the shopping and stuff is. They said that it was going to be like where the old speed track is. I've never seen the speed track. I don't know how open that space is, but it's to me Arlington Heights is a tight city. Now, if they were hypothetically to move the Chicago Bears to Northwest Indiana, it would not make no freaking sense. Now, here in Chicago, we do kind of include the Northwest Indiana area because the border, the Indiana-Illinois border, is very close to Chicago. That's where the Skyway toll comes in, where you pay like damn near your arm and a leg just to cross over going into Indiana or Indiana going into Illinois. Um, how do I explain this? So Northwest Indiana, like we all know, like Southern Indiana could be like south of Fort Wayne, Indianapolis, Cherville, Maryville, like corn. That's mostly corn, right? But Northwest Indiana to me is like more diverse. Like there's black people, you got Gary, and then the black people who live in Maryville. Maryville's a nice area. Um, Gary, Cherville, Maryville, Highland, Hammond. That's Northwest Indiana. And when I go to Northwest Indiana, those are the only places I truly go to and feel like safe, if you know what I mean. But I don't think that would work to put the Chicago Bears there because one, when you go to a Bears game, what do? You drink beer, right? You have a drink, you go to the bar, stuff like that. I think Indiana has a very weird law about alcohol sales on Sundays because that's what day the Bears play a lot. Thursday, you could go to a bar, get a drink on Thursday night football and Monday night football. Great. But Sundays, I don't think you can get a drink. Or you could go to a liquor store and buy alcohol. Like, Indiana is not Illinois. Indiana is a red state, Illinois is a blue state, so obviously different laws. So it would not make sense. And it's in Indiana. Chicago Bears, not in Indiana. The New Jersey Nets were at least in New Jersey. The Brooklyn Nets were at least in Brooklyn. Like, it would just would not make sense. And then, you would have to find somewhere to put a football field. And a lot of those Northwest Indiana towns, they're kind of tight towns, if you will. So yeah, it wouldn't work. So figuring out how to do it in Arlington Heights is perfectly fine with me for now. Let's see what else is going on. I did want to talk about the Epstein files. All I wanted to say was that Chris Tucker was featured in it. So I thought he wouldn't be in it. I'm like, Chris Tucker, he's Chris Tucker. Like, why would he be in there? But there's pictures of him in there. They tried to say Diana Ross was involved, but the idiots, whoever started that rumor, they had a picture of her, and then there were other people, faces covered with Michael Jackson. Turns out it was their children. It was Evan Ross, Paris Jackson, and Prince Jackson. So they were just putting any old thing for photos in there to make Michael Jackson look bad, which freaking sucked. And I hope that the Michael Jackson estate sued them for that. Also, there was a lot of redacted and blacked out parts, but I guess they kind of forgot, technology is very good in 2026, and people learned how to like take off the black part on Photoshop or whatever. So, um, yeah, y'all busted. Y'all busted. Um, Nicki Minaj and Erica Kirk, that was a sad sight to see. One, Nicki Minaj is not an American citizen, so her sitting down with Erica Kirk to me is putting her nose in business that does not pertain to her. I never was a Nicki Minaj fan. I don't really like a lot of her music, maybe a couple songs here and there, but for the past few years, Nicki Minaj has shown me why I am not a Nicki Minaj fan. I'm not a Barb. I think Nicki Minaj has lost a lot of fans for her decision doing this. So shame on you, Nicki. You can't take this back. Just shame on you, girl. Like, shame on you. And lastly, Mendices and Yandy are broken up. I really liked Mendices and Yandy. Yandy loved Mendices. She stuck with him when he went to jail and all that stuff. They were on Love and Hip Hop New York, blah, blah, blah. But they were never legally married, so that I guess that's why like their split wasn't as messy, because there was like no legalities to deal with it. Yandy basically protected herself. People were like, Yandy, you ain't even legally married to Mendices because she protected her assets and her money because Mendices was in trouble. So that was, I mean, it looks dumb, but it was a smart move, honestly. And I kind of knew that they were over because when Funky Dineva talked about Mendices and Tamar messing around, and Yandy didn't even flinch, in my opinion, like publicly. But they did say, like, Tamar had a little accident or whatever, so probably somebody else did something to her. I don't know. But it wasn't like a huge bombshell, like Yandy didn't jump on the internet and say, blah, 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 blah. But she's not the type. I don't think. I don't really know these people, but it wasn't a big blow up. Like, if another scandal in Love and Hip Hop world, blew up like that, it'd be all over the blogs and stuff. But it didn't until Funky Dineva, blew it up. And then Tamar says she's owed an apology. I'm not a fan of Tamar Braxton because she does a lot of things for attention. But I'm just telling y'all what she said. And I don't know what's wrong with that girl, but that is all the stories I have for now. Thank y'all again for listening. Thank y'all for all the support. Again, more episodes of Tom's or Mandy's Entertainment Reviews is coming very, very soon. I'm getting back into things, getting back to work, more content, more stuff. So I think 2026 is going to be a good year. For the past 5 years I've just been starting a foundation, so now I'm just adding on. But I hope you guys enjoy. Like, share, subscribe on YouTube, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.